and wants to share this information with our church family. So let us come in. We're about to get started. Family, if you have your children here for Bible Bowl practice, that will be canceled for today, but will be rescheduled by Sister Treva, and she will get that information out to everyone. So if you were here planning on staying for the Bible Bowl practice, that is canceled for today. We'll be looking forward to seeing you next week.
All right, so Ron gave me a pretty good introduction there. So I am a counselor. I'm also a counselor educator. I'm also a counseling supervisor. So mental health is pretty central to the work I do, but I've also just had lots of experiences with my own mental health. I used to ride on ARC with Ron, and now I oversee ARC and our community responders. And during that time, Ron and I have talked a lot about he sees couples and he works with people in a religious sense. And then I work with people, obviously, in a mental health sense. And there is a ton of overlap there. We see a lot of the same themes. We're just using different words. He's bringing in scripture and I'm bringing in theory. But I can say personally that the mental health aspect has always been something that I've been a part of. But then I came to this church about 2 years ago at this point, and that's really my first experience with religion. And bringing in the religious aspect with the mental health aspect is really this whole person picture. So what I want to bring here is just how can we bring in more mental health here? Because obviously the spiritual aspect is very, very important, but the mental health aspect is also very important. So how can we tie them together? So we'll just go through some myths and facts pretty quickly. Like I said, you guys probably all have plans for Memorial Day. I've got plans, so we'll get through this. So myth or fact, mental health conditions are among the leading causes of ill health and disability worldwide. You can shout these out. Fact? Yeah, fact. Mental health is very serious. Sometimes, it's still very taboo to say, like, I might need a mental health day from work, but if you are not mentally somewhere, you cannot function well. We take it seriously if we have COVID or the flu or something else, but if we're not checked in, we can't be our best selves. Next slide, please. Myth or fact, mental health conditions are a sign of weakness. Myth, we can't help it. We are doing our best out here. Things are hard. People can be hurtful. Devil can be after us sometimes, and it is really hard. And that's okay to tell people, like, I'm struggling. A few months ago, I've been going through some work stuff. A few months ago, I was sitting back there and I was just crying, and I couldn't stop. But being able to talk to people about that, being able to open up, it helped. But nobody had a solution for me. Nothing changed, but just sharing and connecting made a difference. Next slide. Myth or fact, you only need to take care of your mental health to manage a mental health condition. Myth, you have to take care of your physical health. You have to take care of your spiritual health. We have to do all of these things to make sure that we are mentally healthy and mentally our best selves. Next slide. Myth or fact, 1 in 5 American adults experience a mental health condition in any given year. Fact. So this is something diagnosable, something that we go and get treatment for. I don't like diagnosis. It is a necessary evil of the insurance process. So these are things that technically get diagnosed, but we go through mental health stuff every single day, whether it has a label on it or it doesn't. Next slide. Myth or fact, you can help prevent mental health concerns by limiting exposure to different risk factors. It's a fact. So a lot of things are out of our control. We live in a very flawed society, and lots of people are experiencing lots of oppressions and struggles that we can't help. But there are things that we can improve to help with our mental health conditions. Next slide. Myth or fact, therapy only represents one culture and isn't for everybody. It's a myth, but I understand where it comes from, especially as I'm standing up here as a white female, which is like 70% of the counseling population. People do not feel represented. I'm also a counselor educator. We do a lot of work to recruit more students that are representing more populations because you want to feel seen in therapy. You need to connect to the person you're working with. So while that's a myth, it does sometimes feel like a fact because you may not feel seen. So it is really important and it is something we're actively working on. Myth or fact, you may have to try different therapists or medications before finding the right one. That is really, really, really challenging. I have been pretty badly harmed by mental health professionals, and then going and trying to find a different one and be vulnerable again and share all the things is so challenging. And it's the same with physical health. It's the same in a lot of realms, but you will find the right fit. You will find something that works for you if you keep looking. Myth or fact, only people without friends or supports need therapists. Right. One person is not going to be everything in your life. So they just can't be. And that's okay. Nobody is going to check all the boxes for you. So a therapist is somebody outside, objective. You can spill all of your stuff, and then you can go back and get other types of supports. Next slide. Myth or fact, all mental health conditions are permanent. That's a myth. There are some mental health conditions that people do struggle with for their whole life. And there's things we cannot get around. So I struggle with ADHD, and there's nothing that's going to fix that for me. That's always there. But the anxiety I struggle with, that's situational, and it's things I can manage, I can work through. If I'm anxious, I'm like, what's wrong in my life? What is going on? What do I need to talk to God about? So some are permanent, but not everything is. Next slide. Myth or fact, the majority of people who seek treatment for mental health concerns experience a significant reduction in symptoms. So that is true. When people do seek treatment and they find treatment that is effective for them, they do experience help and their symptoms do go down. Again, you have to find that right fit, that right provider, the right medications, but when you find that fit, it is helpful. I think this is our last one. Myth or fact, mental health treatment is one size fits all. Myth, you have to find what works for you. I've had more people recently who have been asking for more of a faith lens, which is awesome for me because it helps me grow and learn in my journey as well. And so you have to find that person that's going to connect with you and get you and speak your language. So those are my myths or facts. If you ever want to talk about mental health, I like to talk about it. And yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for sitting around.
Let's give her another round of applause. She did a great job. She's always here. We work together, like I said. We used to ride together for about a year or so, and for a long time. But I see her on a daily basis, so we're kind of support for each other. And don't hesitate to reach out if you're having just some any type of thoughts, any type of feelings. She's a great resource that God has given us within this congregation, so please use her. Pretty much, what is it this week? Memorial Day. Let's enjoy the weekend. Thank you for your attention. Bye-bye.